All right, everybody. So this probably isn't new either. Slope-intercept form. You might have been introduced to this in pre-algebra. If not, or in 8th grade math. If not, this is one of the most fundamental forms of linear algebra. Right? When we talk about linear functions, this equation governs them all. This is the most useful and the most efficient when we write equations. So let's introduce it. This is what we call slope-intercept form. Just like in the name, it needs two things. The slope, and what else do you think? The intercept. Specifically, we're going to look at the y-intercept, which means y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Everybody say it again. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Right. It's extremely important, you know, when you rewrite slope-intercept form, we need the slope and we need the y-intercept. Now, this is how it's formed. Y is equal to mx plus b. Let's talk about which is which. When we talk about slope, this is my variable m. We actually talked about this in last class. So when we're looking at our equation, this is our parent function here, mx plus b. The m represents slope, okay? Now, the y-intercept can be represented by the variable b. This number is by itself in the slope form. So whenever you see this equation or any of this variation, you know, okay, it's giving me two things. M, the slope, b, the y-intercept, which is extremely important and useful for us. Okay? We've talked about rate of change. We needed that information in order to be able to do today's lesson. Now, we also talked about two different types of lines last class. A horizontal line and a vertical line. Now, those two lines have very distinct equations, right? In here, whenever we talk about a horizontal line, the way we start off with is y is equal to, and then the letter c means any constant, right? And this could be any integer. Could be 1, -1, 0. Could be any integer possible, okay? And this is how it looks like. Let's say I wanted to do y is equal to the number 2. Well, where is y2? Right here. And we said a horizontal line, right? So then I would draw a horizontal line, making sure it goes through y2. Yes? Question for you. What do you notice about the x-coordinate? Can it be different? Yeah, throughout that entire line I have different x-coordinates, but what do you notice about the y-coordinate? It stays the same. No matter which coordinate I put on that horizontal line, my y-coordinate stays the same. That's extremely important. You get a bunch of questions on the star or even on an exam, well, they'll try and trick you and say, oh, well, what's the equation if you have these 2 points? We'll look at the points, right? So inversely, if we talk about vertical lines, our equation starts off with x equals, and then some constant again. So here we have, let's say we have x is equal to -2. Well, my vertical line needs to cross x -2. So it's this one right here. So then I make sure that my vertical line is crossing that. What do you notice about the y coordinate in each one of those? So if I wanted to do this one or this one, are they different? Yes, they're all distinct. They're all different y coordinate. But what do you notice about the x coordinate? They're all what? The same. Super important when you're graphing equations today. Okay? Can I answer any questions here? All right. Let's start basic. I want you to identify the slope and I want you to identify the y-intercept based on this equation. I'll give your groups 30 seconds. You should be able to do it in less than 30 seconds just looking at your vocab. Go. Do we need more time? Okay, all right. I'll give you another 30 seconds. This shouldn't take you that long, y'all. Look at your vocab. What's M? What's B? All right, everybody, here we go. Let's start out with Victoria. Tell us, what is the slope of this line? What gives you the indication that it's 2? Which 2? I see several 2s. Okay, but how is the slope 2 then? So let's remember what the equation looks like. We're gonna stay together. Victoria, here we go. Which letter represents my slope? No, in the equation that I wrote. Victoria only. Victoria only. M. So that's a number in front of the x. So then I ask you again, what is my slope in this equation? Very good. Good correction. Absolutely love it. Good job. Okay. Delilah, I'm curious. We talked about the slope. I want the y-intercept. Which number represents my y? Which letter represents my y-intercept in that equation? 2 over 3, right? Which letter in my equation, which variable represents the y-intercept? B, the number behind the x. So then the answer for this is 2/3. You are going to have several questions on Delta Math asking you. It is pivotal and crucial you can answer those questions. What is the slope? What is the y-intercept given this form? Yes? Can I answer any questions? Okay, let's do another extension. I want you to find the slope and the y-intercept of this equation. We're going to do example B. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. It shouldn't take you more than 30 seconds. You know what to do now. Go. All right, here we go. Emma, I'm curious. I want to know what my slope is. What is M equal to? 5. Very good. That's it. Cut and dry, right? Alessi, I'm curious. I want B. What is B equal to? Right? What is B? Our what? Y-intercept, right? Lauren, help me out. What is B? What's my y-intercept? -3. Good. I tried to throw you a little curveball by giving you a -3. Yes, this is correct. Remember, we have y is equal to mx plus b. This is the slope-intercept form, right? It should be a plus. If it's not, what's really happening is plus -3 or -3 is happening. So it's important for us to identify, okay, my y-intercept is -3. I had a lot of students last year struggle with that concept. I wanted to make sure we clear that up. Are we okay? Can I answer any questions? Delta Math has several practice problems. There's a lot of practice problems today, but they're like this, quick. Okay? Are we okay? Fantastic. Okay, now I want you to graph this. We have the ability to graph. We talked about it last class, right? What was the slope? What is my rise over run, right? What is my rate of change? Okay, let's start with what we already know to do. We have this equation. Let's get the two things that we need that are necessary. What's M and what's B? Someone give me M. What do we have? Emma. Very good. -1/2. Cut and dry. That's what that is. Okay. Someone else. Riley. What's B? 4. Very good. But what do these mean? Let's start off first by plotting what we know. We said that B was what? My y-intercept. Very good. Hold up. These balloons are driving me nuts. It is not my birthday. Okay. It happens. Okay. So B is my y-intercept, right? That is where the graph crosses the y-axis. Yes, thank you, everybody. I'm glad that we're awake. Okay. So then what's my coordinate here? If that is my y-intercept, what is my coordinate? This is super important. Huh? 4 in the y, but I need a coordinate point. I need a location. 0. Someone say it again. 0, 4. Again, everybody, if we have this y-intercept, what would be my x value then? 0. 0 is my x value because that's where the graph crosses the y-axis. Okay, and I'm going to move these over. So my y-intercept is 0, 4. Good. Now we have enough information, right? We know what my slope is, rise over run. But what are my directions? You should have had some practice during your Delta Math assignment. What are my directions? What's my rise? Am I going up or down to get to the next point? Down. How many? 1. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to the left or right 2. I'm going to the left. What is this 2 telling me? Is it positive or negative? Is it? Look at it. The negative is only on one of the numbers. The top one, right? And even if it's like this, y'all, you can put it either up here or down here. We customarily do it up in the numerator. Right? That's why I went ahead and put it down. So the 2 is positive for us. So am I going to the left or right? To the right, yes, because that's where all my positive values are. Right? You see all the x's that are positive, they're going in the right direction. So we go 1, 2. Congratulations, you plotted a point using the slope. And it's just the same pattern over and over again. So what was our slope again? We go which direction? Down 1, right 2. Done. How do we feel, everybody? Okay. Unfortunately, though, we have only graphed half of the line. How do we get the other half? Well, here's what I'm going to do. Does everybody see this? Yes, that was my slope, right? What value is this? Positive or negative? It's a negative, right? This is a negative. So either the numerator or the denominator one of them has to be positive, one of them has to be negative, correct? In order to find the other half of the line, we need to swap directions. So instead of -1, I'm going to put +1. And instead of +2, I'm going to put -2. Is this still a negative value? Yes, it is still a negative value. So, okay, in order to find the other half, and I'm going to do it in a different color, we said 1 over -2. So what's my rise now? Instead of going down 1, I'm going to go up 1, okay? And instead of going to the right 2, I am going to go to the left 2. Bam, that's the other half. And then that's probably as much space as I'm going to get. So now I can officially Oops. Connect them. You see how they connect all by one line? So whenever you have slope, everybody, 1/2, you can do it with the way we see it, -1/2. But in order to graph the other direction, the other half, we need to swap directions. Yes? Okay, I want you to try this one on your own. Same steps. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Can I graph it in one direction and the other direction? Super important. I'm going to give you and your groups 3 minutes for this. So 3 minutes to graph the line starting now. Do it 8 more time, everybody. All right, I'm gonna give you another minute.
Let's see, girl. Let's see it. Good. Wait, do you start with the y-intercept and faces? Okay, that's good. And then you go to the side. You don't go to the side one.
All right, everybody, here we go. I'm going to ask myself the same questions over and over again. What's my slope? 1 over 4. Good. What's my y-intercept? -8. Good. Everybody, that is fundamental. That was today's lesson. All right? So, okay, let's plot. That's 6th grade. My first thing is I want to plot my y-intercept. Well, what coordinate is that? Nope. 0, -8. Yes, you need to be very intentional, right? You have to be very intentional here. So 0, -8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here is my points. Are we okay so far? Yes. Okay. Talk to me about directions. This is last lesson. This is what we talked about in the last lesson. What are my directions according to that fraction? Rise over run. We go up or down? Up, how many? So then this is my rise, and we go up 1. That's important. Okay. Bam. Are we okay so far? Okay, then talk to me about this. So then this has to be my run. Is that a +4 or -4? +4. That means I go to the left or to the right 4? To the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, that's my other point. Okay, some of you misunderstood me when I said, and that's perfectly fine. Some of you misunderstood me when I said we flip directions. Talk to me. What is this value? A positive or negative value? Positive. Okay, so and when we switch directions, we still need a positive 1/4. Talk to me about this. Is that a positive value? No. Why is it not a positive value? Those of you that are saying no. Okay, well, talk to me. If it is, what's the rule here? A what divided by a what is what? Everybody, let's say it together. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. This is still positive. Okay, so then talk to me about directions. Instead of, what is that one? What's my rise? Am I going up or down according to that number? Down. How many? Okay, in a new color, I'm going to go down. And then talk to me about this direction here. To the left, to the left or to the right? Left. To the left. How many? 4. And everybody, your line must connect through every single point that you plotted, right? Including the y-intercept. So, can I answer questions? Because some of you misunderstood my words, and I want to make sure we clear this up. This is super important. You could miss star questions because you do not understand this idea. Believe it or not, even in Algebra 2, I have students struggling with graphing lines. So it's imperative that we learn how to do it now, that you have answer questions now, before you get to Algebra 2 as a sophomore or a junior, and you're struggling graphing lines. So can I answer any questions? We're okay then. All right, you will have practice with this in Delta Math. All right, let's talk about this one. I want to graph this line. Someone talk to me. What's my slope for this line? For this equation, what's my slope? Let's look at it. Y is equal to mx plus b. What happens if I were to put 0 as my slope? What would happen to x? Goes away. Anything times 0 is just 0. So this turns into 0. What's my y-intercept then? -5. So 0 minus 5 is -5. Y is equal to -5. Wait a minute. It's the same thing as that. That is where we get our 0 slope from. Right? If we put in 0 as my slope, I should end up with a y equals some constant, -5. Okay, well, let's graph it then. Y is equal to -5. Are we expecting a horizontal line or a vertical line? If it has 0 slope, we're expecting what? Horizontal. We talked about this in last class. If our slope is 0, we should be expecting a horizontal line, right? So let's do it. Where am I plotting this at? At y what though? What, according to this, where am I plotting my horizontal line at? -5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we said horizontal line, right? So it must go through y is equal to -5. Yes. Okay, so then here's my extension here. What if I had y is equal to +2? Where would we plot this at? At y2. So what's my coordinate? Where would I start if it was y2? 0, comma what? 2. And then my horizontal line must cut through 0, 0, 2. Yes? Okay, for those of you that still want a little bit more practice here, what if I had y is equal to -1? Where would I start at? 0, comma, -1. So 0, comma, -1. So let's plot my first point here. And what am I expecting? A horizontal or vertical line? Horizontal, right? And it must cut through 0, comma, -1. So yes? How do we feel, everybody? Okay, good. Let's talk about this one. I'm going to warn you now, this is not a graphable equation with the decimals that you have available to you. But you might be asked, okay, well, how would I graph this if I were able to graph it? Okay, well, think about it. Y is equal to -5 had to cut 0, comma, -5, right? So x equals 2. Where would be my starting point here? At 2 what? 2, comma, 0. Yes. And now, what type of line are we expecting if we have x equals? Vertical line. So it must cut 2, comma, 0. Yes? All right, let's do a little bit more practice. I have x is equal to -3. Where would be my starting point for that equation? -3, comma, 0. And am I expecting a horizontal or vertical line? Vertical line. And it must cut that point. Yes? Okay, final one. X is equal to 0. This was a fun one. What should be my starting point here? The origin or 0, comma, 0. I call this a trick question, but it really isn't. The same pattern that we've been doing. Math is just the study of patterns, everybody. If we've been saying x is equal to 2 and we start at 2, comma, 0, okay? If we said x is equal to -3, we cut it at x is equal to -3. If you get x is equal to 0, then that's where we need to cut it, at 0, comma, 0. So this point right here, and that is my line. Yes? Same thing with y. If you get y is equal to 0, then it's also at the origin. Yes? Fantastic. Can I answer any questions about graphing equations? All right. Okay, so now I'm asking you to write an equation based on information you're given. You're told that it has a slope of 3/2 and a y-intercept of -1. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. That shouldn't take you that long. Just, that's plain vocab. This is a plain vocab type of problem. Go. Okay, everybody. June, I'm curious. Y is equal to, what would be my equation here? 3 over 2x plus negative 1. Okay, I want to simplify that. I don't like the plus negative situation happening. Rewrite it for me. 3 halves x very good. Minus 1. Did we get this, everybody? Yes. Okay. I'm curious myself. We'll do it in another one. It's fine. Can I answer any questions about this? Did we find this easy? Okay, so then let's try another one because I want you to get some practice before you have delta math practice. If my slope is negative 2/3 and my y-intercept is 3, what's my equation then? Y is equal to what? Negative 2/3 x plus something you should be able to do almost in an instant, which is why I gave you a lot of those delta math problems. You should be able to get good practice from it. Okay? Questions? Okay. What if I gave you the equation? It's the same thing over and over again, just different ways of doing it. I'm going to give you and your groups, I'm going to zoom in pretty aggressively right now, but I'm going to give you and your groups a minute. Look at it. What is the equation given the graph? Go. Keep going. All right, everybody, let's come back. We talked about this. We talked about this in the last class. How do we find slope of a line, right? Because the y-intercept is pretty easy to find, right? Yes, we should be able to instantly find it. We should know what the coordinate is. What's b equal to? 2. Boom, flat, a C. In our last class, we talked about finding slope within lines. This is why it's important that as the week continues, you are working diligently on your delta math. Because we build on everything that we talk about, right? Leaving it for the weekend isn't going to help you in the next class. You're going to feel lost. So if you're feeling like that, it's because you didn't practice anything, okay? So we talked about how to find slope between two lines, or in a line, right? I find two graphable points, right? I see this one, probably the easiest one, my y-intercept. And then I also see this one. This one's very easy to find, right? And remember, as long as all the points are in the same line, you're gonna find the same slope. It's gonna be the same slope between each one of the lines. Okay, so what directions am I going? To get from this point to this point, I need to go down 2, so 1, 2. So what's m? My numerator should be what? -2. Okay, and then I need to go in which direction to get to the next point? Right 2, 1, 2. Is that positive or negative? If I'm going towards the right, that direction is positive. Good, okay. But looking at that line, we talked about this in the last class. What am I expecting, a positive or negative slope? Negative slope. See, everything connects, everything. Let's reduce that. -2 divided by 2 can be rewritten as what? Negative what? 1. So now, let's write our equation. Y is equal to -1 x plus 2. Now, real quick, everybody, this is acceptable. Delta Math will accept it. Most of your exam questions will accept this. I want to preface by saying, technically, I wouldn't write it like this. Here's why. Because what's happening here? What operation between 1 and x? And how do you know? Multiplication, because they are what? They are together. They are touching. So if they're touching, it implies what operation again? Multiplication, right? In reality, I could just say -x. It's the same thing. I don't have to write the 1 so long as I put the negative. So again, highly acceptable. In fact, I would prefer you write it like this for a little bit. But then, just like a baby with their pacifier, I would wean off and start writing it like this. Because you might end up seeing some answer choices that won't give you the 1 and you won't understand why. Okay? So, okay. Use it. Use this. No problem. Wean off eventually. Write your equations like this. It really should look like this. -x plus 2. These are equivalent expressions. Use this for now, wean off later, write it like this. Okay? Yes?
It's the slope is 1, right?
-1. If the slope is +1, then we would write it like here. Y is equal to x plus 2. Where there is no 1. It's assumed that the 1 is touching the x, but we don't have to write it. Because 1 times anything is just itself. And -1 times anything is just the negative version of itself. Right? Does that answer your question, Mia? Fantastic. Can I answer any other ones? That was a great question. How do we feel, everybody? Comfy? You're going to have a lot of problems like this. So although you might see 75 problems on your Delta Math, they're going to fly really quickly. And don't act like so surprised. You've done your Delta Math long enough to know some of those questions just fly real quick. Okay? All right, let's do some modeling real quick. And no, not fashion modeling, math modeling. Okay, We are told that a plumber charges a $25 fee for a repair plus $15 an hour. Write an equation to model the total cost of Y of a repair that takes X hours. What graph models the total cost? Okay, well, let's take a look at this. If the plumber does no job, just walks in, so he's worked 0 hours, what's my charge? 25. Why is it 25? Because it's a fee. Yes, very good. It is a fee. In the real world, that's called a travel fee. They want a fee to be able to travel to your house, right? So even if they work 0 hours when they walk in, they're expecting a minimum of $25, right? What variable did we say hours was, according to this problem? What are hours? X, good. So we said at 0 hours, how much is the plumber charging? 25. What's this? What's 0, 25? What is that to us? We just learned it. Our y-intercept. Yes, so let's plot that. Yes, are we okay? Okay, good. After 1 hour, how much is he charging now? $15 an hour, right? How much will my total cost be to him to do work now? Say louder. 40. Right? 25 plus 15 gives me 40. So then 1, 40. Okay, what's happening every single time now? I just keep adding 15 like our sequences, right? So 2, how much do I owe the plumber now? $55. So 2, 55. 3, how much do after 3 hours, how much do I owe the plumber? 70. Okay. After 4 hours, how much do I owe the plumber? And after 5 hours, how much do I owe the plumber? Man, you really hope that you don't go 5 hours, man. That's a lot of money, right? Sheesh. Okay, here's my question to you. What kind of graph would I create from this? Should I connect the lines? Question mark. Should I not connect the lines? Who's connect lines? Who thinks we should connect the lines? Who thinks we should just leave them like points, like this? For those of you that are saying that, defend your answer. Zoe, tell us why. Why should I not connect them? Why doesn't it make sense for me to connect the line, all those points together? Very good. Each single point represents a separate hour and a separate value, right? Imagine if I were to connect the lines, just hypothetically, right? How much would I owe him right here? I don't know. Like, I have no earthly idea. I wouldn't know how to calculate that, to be honest with you, right? Or how much would I pay right there if he finishes the job? Right? Like, I have no idea what that would look like, right? So remember, just because we're talking about linear functions and lines does not mean that everything needs to be connected. There's some scenarios like this where we won't have to connect, right? Out of curiosity, what's the domain of this? What type of graph is this? It's a linear, okay, good. We talked about 2 types of graphs at the beginning of the school year. Continuous, where we connect all of them. What was the other one? Starts with the letter D. DIS, discrete. Yes, this is a discrete, right? What's the domain here? So 0, well, let's just talk domain. Domain is what? my x's or y's? X. Okay, so domain is my x, right? Okay, so where do I start? 0, 1, comma, 2, comma, and we stopped here. Yes, what's my range here? Well, did we start at 0 in the range? Where did we start at according to this? 25, okay. 40, comma, 55, comma, 70, comma, 85, comma, honey, a whole bench. A whole Benji. Everybody, just because we've stopped talking about domain and range, just because we put it off to the side, does not mean that there's no way that you wouldn't be asked what the domain of a function is, right? Or in this case, a discrete graph. Yes? All right, the last thing I want to do. What if you were just given points and you were asked to find the slope, the equation for the line? All right, ready? I'm going to do the first one together, and then you'll do the other one. What did we learn last class? How to find slope. And we learned how to find the slope with points, right? What was that equation? M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus... Look at y'all. Good. Okay, so we can do this. I want to challenge you and do this one in a minute 30? Minute 30 seconds? What's the slope? Okay, 2 minutes, fine. What's the slope of those 2 points? Ready? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Starting now. All right, we should have been able to figure out what the slope is. I'm going to trust you for a moment and hope that you gave me the right answer. Marla, what do you got for us? Confirmation for this? Did we get 1/2? Okay, I will take your word for it. Yes, did we? Negative 1/2. Okay, so now we're going to do it together. Here we go. Okay, I know, I agree. But now I have to verify your work. All right, here we go. -3 minus -2 divided by 1 minus 3. This gives me -1 divided by -2, which indeed is positive 1/2.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Yes. -3 plus 2 gives me -1. And then 1 minus 3 is indeed -2. Yes? Okay, so yes, Marlo and the rest of you are absolutely correct. It is 1/2. Okay, here's where things get interesting. Are we ready? So we are giving your slope, but we still need one important part of the equation, right? All we have is slope. What do we need? The y-intercept. We need b. Can you find b from this? No, but we could solve for it. Are we ready? Okay. Let's recall our equation. Y is equal to mx plus b. Yes? Everybody, this is the hardest and most challenging part of the lesson and of your homework. Everything else is easy. This is tough. Let's substitute what we know. Y is equal to 1/2 x plus b. We need to figure out what b is. I have no idea what b is at the moment, but we need to figure it out. What do we have though? We have two perfectly good coordinate points that we could substitute. I'm going to substitute this one. And it doesn't matter. You could substitute any one of them. They're both going to be on the same line, so it won't matter. So you can substitute any one of them. Let's continue. Instead of y, what am I going to put? According to that coordinate point, what's the y value of that coordinate point? The one that I circled. -3. Okay, so instead of y here, I'm going to put -3 is equal to 1/2. Instead of x, I'm going to put what? Which coordinate point did I choose? 1. So what's my x value here? 1 plus b. Are we okay? All right, 1/2 times 1 just gives me what? So yes, we did put x, but we're trying to substitute. I'm trying to substitute it with this coordinate point to solve for the y-intercept. Does that answer your question? Fantastic. Okay, 1/2 times 1 just gives me 1/2. Okay, I just want b by itself. So what do I need to do with that 1/2? This is simple solve. This is one-step solve, which is we should be comfortable with this by now. This is 8th grade stuff. Or 7th grade honors, right? Subtract what? Whatever do to one side of the equation, I do to the other. So this turns into -3 I'll be fine. I'll be nice. I'll accept it. I'll accept your decimal. It's equal to b. So then let's write my equation. What's my equation for this? Y is equal to 1/2 x minus 3.5. Do you want proof that this is true? No? You're going to take me by my word? You believe me that much? No, I didn't. I just wanted to verify. That's all I did. I want you to try one on your own. I want you to sink or swim with this. And I will float you back in. Here's this one. What's the equation if I gave you these 2 points? What is the equation? So I'm going to zoom out so that you can see all the work that I did. And hope that you can make the connection yourself. I'm gonna give you and your groups about 4 minutes for this. Finding the slope-intercept form, passing those 2 points there. Okay, 4 minutes. Now. Start off with slope. You need slope. Find the slope. You should have the ability to do that. What has your confusion? Find the slope. Okay, so then you found the slope. Okay, you put it in y equal to mx plus b, right? You do swap the slope, right?
So then do you
Divide the slope for the next one. 8. You minus 1 is 2. Yeah, 4. Okay, good. So then you have 4. And now, for y and x, you have 1 equal points. Wherever you see y, put the y value in one of the points that you picked. For x, put the x value in that point. You need to make sure that works.
That's the only reason. That
Always. Always. No, that's right. What do you think? Okay, no. Yes, it is. Very good. Yes, you have to multiply that by 3. Yep, yep, that's how you, yep, and then you solve for b. Yep, very good.
wait, okay, so it would be this.
Yep, so right here, that's what b is, right? Okay, so then now right here, step in, y is equal to I know, keep going. Yes, you're not keep going. Yes. Pretty good. We don't know what e is, right? So what's e? That's what we're solving for. Okay. Now solve it. No. What's happening here? Wait, this is yes, it means multiplier. It's more than 3. Yes. got 7 minus 12. Right, put that in the calculator if you're ever running short. Yes, you go. 4x minus 5. So y is equal to 4x minus 5. Alright, everybody, here we go. All right, everybody, most of us got here. Shh, come back to the fold. Most of us got here. Okay, we're trying to solve for B. What is happening between 4 and 3? What operation? Multiplication. Okay, well then multiply them, right? We end up with 7 is equal to 12 plus B. This is turned into a one-step solve, right? How do I get B by itself? But whatever to the one side of the equal sign, I need to do it to the other side. Where is the other side? Aquí. Bruh, some of you were like, minus 12. Okay, I'm done. Like, no. Okay, Emma, what did you get? What is B equal to? Negative 5. Beautiful. Okay, but okay, you've done all that work, but you haven't answered the question. What was the question? What were you asked? What equation? What is the equation? Emma, again, y is equal to... Y'all want to try one more? Yes, and then we'll do it. We'll cover it together. All right, I'm gonna give you 4 minutes again. Now that you're a bit stronger with it, 4 minutes should be more than enough time. Go. Both of them are negative. The top and the bottom, but only one of them is value is exactly right. I think that's right. Right. Finish it, right? Yeah. All right, everybody. Here, let's work on it together. Most of us got the right slope, right? The slope is -1/5. Okay, so then y is equal to -1/5 x plus b. I'm going to use this point right here to help me out. So -1 is equal to -1/5 times -5 plus b. If you put this into the calculator, you get +1. Yes? Okay? And then it's just a one-step solve. Subtract 1 from both. You get that b is equal to what according to this? -2. So then what's my equation here? Y is equal to -1/5 x minus 2. So if you got 1/5, you got that part right. Then something happened here and you're solved. Check your work. All right, remember your assignment is due on Sunday, 9 p.m.